How many years is this? We've been doing this interview.
Oh, that we've been doing, I'm not sure.
4 years, 5 years?
This is like number 22 for me, I think.
We've been in this place at least 4 years.
Yeah. At least 4.
Yeah. So how's it looking?
It's looking good. We're still having some, we're still working on a couple of key spots. And we won't be ready to announce those for another week or two probably. But a lot of cool stuff has come together, and we've gone public with a lot of the lineup at this point. Yeah,
we had a piece up last week which had pretty much the names that you released.
Yeah.
But the one I'm interested in, you got to tell me about. We'll talk about the other ones.
Okay.
But you got to tell me about Leo Bud Welch.
Leo. Well, Leo is now, I think, 83 or 84.
Yeah.
And he was kind of a late bloomer. He didn't record until about 4 years ago or 3 years ago, his first album that he ever recorded. He'd been playing in gospel groups and below the radar, and he put out this gospel record that somebody at Fat Possum Records, you know, the guys who put out R.L. Burnside and did a lot of really hip blues recordings a decade or so ago. They heard him put out a blues album, immediately got traction on NPR and got reviewed in a lot of prestigious blues and music, you know, CD mags. Got invited to European festivals.
Wow.
Not only had he never been to Europe, he had never been on a plane. He had never been out of the state of Mississippi. So suddenly this 80-year-old guy is flying off, playing these big festivals in France, you know. So that was the first year he came to Waterfront, which was 3 years ago, I think, was right when all that was just starting to happen.
Yeah.
And in the interim, he's put out another CD, and he's continued to play big festivals all over the place. I mean, he's kind of one of the last guys standing doing that kind of thing.
One of the last guys to be discovered.
Yeah, to be discovered. I mean, he was, nobody knew who he was really.
Wow.
But he's really a trip. I mean, I've seen him play at Red's a couple times, this little juke joint in Clarksdale. And he just, you know, he gets up and he dances around and it pretty much gets down on his knees and goes out in the crowd, and I just, you know, I don't know how he does it. And he's, you know, I think he still smokes. I mean, he's like, you know, what's the formula here?
How does he take all this fame?
Oh, I think he just thinks it's this big adventure. You know? So anyway, he's coming back. This time he's coming back. He came as a solo before, but he's coming back with his drummer, who is Dixie Street, who is the wife of Stan Street, who is manages our Crossroads stage. They're both from Clarksdale. He has a little gallery, and he's a harmonica player, and they have a whole little world in Clarksdale, you know, that they've. So anyway. But so, Kingfish is also coming back from Mississippi.
I saw.
You know, we figured it was hot enough last year that some people that needed to hear him didn't get a chance.
Well, he certainly was the hit last year.
Oh, well, you know, talking as a guitar player, I have to say I'm not impressed with guitar shredders because I'm a guitarist and I've heard everything, and it seems like old to me. You know, and the last thing I want to hear is somebody just do a lot of frilly stuff. But there's something else going on with him. I mean, he's got all those chops, but they come from just a deep place.
Yeah.
I was really moved by his playing, and I was surprised that I was moved by his playing, but I was really deeply touched. I think he's really brilliant.
Yeah.
I think he's really brilliant.
And we got a brass band.
Soul Rebels Brass Band.
Yeah, man.
They've never been to Waterfront, so this is finally, you know, I've been kind of working on them for years. And,
Was it just a routing problem?
It's a routing, or you know, we had Rebirth lined up, so we didn't need another brass band or this or that. But anyway, that'll be fun.
That'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah. And they'll be playing with Maceo Parker in one of our after-hour shows, so that should be fairly ferocious.
You know,
funky.
I play Maceo a lot on my radio show, and almost every time I play Maceo, and I sometimes I catch myself because I know I'm about to say, man, I wish he'd come back to town again. You know, 'cause it's been a while.
Yeah.
I think it's.
I don't think he's here since the last time he played Waterfront.
No, and that's 3 years ago, right?
Yeah.
2 years ago?
Yeah.
Something like that.
It's,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. Because you can't.
Yeah. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, that's the best band in the world.
Yeah.
To me,
Right.
hands down.
Can't beat it.
There's no better band anywhere in the world than
Right.
Maceo Parker's band.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah, yeah. When will he play?
He'll play Saturday night, and then
yeah.
he'll go across the street and play the late shift at the Marriott.
And tear the roof off the sucker.
Tear the weapon. Yeah, I mean, that was the best set I've seen in years. I think it was this set at the Marriott a few years ago.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it just, you know, even my my old high school buddy, who was Robert Cray's keyboard player for years and years. You know, he was hanging out with us, and he said, "Man, this is the baddest stuff I've heard in ages." You know.
Who should we look to to discover that we may not have heard before?
Well, they're not all that new. They came around. This band called Indigenous. I mean, if you're getting into guitar, blues, Mato Nanchi, he's a Lakota Sioux guy. They started this band called Indigenous. It was all Native Americans.
Yeah.
And they were kind of a big deal about 10 years ago. A family group.
Yeah.
The drummer was the sister. She had a family, had kids, and you know. Anyway, they kind of folded up the band for a while. Mato was here a couple of years ago with Otis Taylor.
Aha.
He's a really great guitar player.
Yeah.
Very soulful. He's been part of the Hendrix tribute tours that go out with Buddy Guy and all those guys for the last few years. So he's really that caliber of guitar player. So if you haven't seen him before, he's worth checking out. He's got a new rhythm section. They're also Native American from a tribe down in the Southwest somewhere. I forget where they're from. So they'll be sort of interesting. Let's see, the Los Straight Jackets.
The Straight Jackets, yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of a fun change of pace, kind of surf guitar.
Definitely.
You know.
And you got Steve Riley back.
Steve Riley's coming back.
He hasn't been in for a while, right?
No, he hasn't been. He hasn't been here since. Well, I think he was at Waterfront about 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, I think I introduced him.
Yeah, very likely. Yeah, with the Zydeco Cajun lineup will be a lot of fun this year.
Yeah.
There's this new act I haven't heard live. They're playing Jazz Fest when I am hoping to be down there. Roddy Romero and the Hub City All Stars. They're pretty cool, sort of swing Cajun Zydeco fusion group. And really great musicians. They got nominated for a Grammy a few years ago for one of their Zydeco recordings.
So we've got some big surprises coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And ZZ Ward has been on my hit list for a while. She's this kid from I think she grew up in Roseburg.
Really?
And you know, this is one of those stories of the act that I passed on, like Johnny Lang when he first came around. So I'm pretty sure her dad sent me a promo pack, you know. So you got to check out my daughter. You know, she plays the harmonica and she's like 13 years old and she's really cool. And I kind of listened to it. I kind of went, oh yeah, whatever. And so I passed, and that was 10 years ago. So now she's like, getting airplay on AAA radio and is kind of this LA pop star. But she's still playing blues-based music. It's pretty interesting to me. It's kind of it has a little bit of rap in it, but she still plays harp in the shows, and her band is really cool. I mean, she's got this deep funk rhythm section, guitar player, drummer, bass player, who just really are bad. So I'm looking forward to hearing her and hearing her in the context of the Blues Festival, because I think that'll be sort of interesting for people.
Do you know who you're going to play with?
Well, Tulu's Cajun Band I will definitely play with. Beyond that, I haven't totally nailed down the regional acts yet, so that remains to be seen.
Except for Curtis.
Except for Curtis. Curtis's high-profile slot on the 4th. Now, Curtis is also, here's another kind of surprise. This guy, Curtis turned me on to a couple of years ago named Igor Prado.
Uh-huh.
Is this Brazilian blues guitar player. When Curtis goes to Latin America,
Uh-huh.
this is the guy who puts together the backing bands for Curtis in Brazil, in Argentina, wherever they play down here.
Uh-huh.
And he's really a phenomenal guitar player. He's a left-handed guitar player. You know, it's real classic blues guitar playing, but it's filtered through this Brazilian ethno funk thing that he brings to it. That's really pretty cool. So anyway, Igor Prado is coming up to do a set of his own, and Curtis will be sitting in with him.
Awesome.
In that.
Wow.
That'll probably be on the 4th.
On the 4th.
Yeah.
Happy 4th of July.
Yeah, happy 4th of July.
Do you know who's singing the national anthem yet?
I'm kind of up in the air about that. One possibility is Grace Love from Seattle, Grace Love and the True Loves. She's this sort of Sharon Jones retro soul singer.
Yeah.
Young. She's really got a lot of buzz in Seattle. In fact, I just saw a clip of her singing I think it's the national anthem at Bernie Sanders' big rally up there last week.
Yeah.
So that's a possibility. But I might also have Andy come back, you know, or LaRonda Steele.
Can't go wrong.
Yeah. I mean, they're all world class.
And they've had great years.
Yeah.
The two of them have had really good years.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, those two are world class singers in our midst. You know.
Well, okay.
Okay.
I'm ready.
All right, I'm ready. Yeah, it'll be fun. So the lay of the weekend is great for us this year. Starts on Friday.
Finally.
Ends on Monday. You know, it should be good, and let's just hope for like high 70s and sun.
Yeah. I almost died last year.
Yeah, I think everybody on the stage crew had some version of heat stroke at some point.
Yes.
I mean, everybody did.
I had heat psychosis, I believe.
I think that's kind of
although it's hard to tell with me.
Yeah. I mean, I looked out on the 4th of July in the middle of the afternoon, and I just went, I can't believe there's anybody out there.
Right.
It was so brutal.
It was brutal.
It was brutal.
Well, not this year.
Not this year. Not this year.
All right. Thanks a lot, Peter.
Yeah. Thank you.